Can you be a faithful Christian and still struggle with depression? The answer is a resounding yes. Mental health challenges do not discriminate. They can affect anyone, regardless of their faith or background. It's time to shed light on this often misunderstood topic. We need to create a safe space for open and honest conversations about mental health within our churches. For too long, mental health has been a taboo subject within Christian communities. The stigma surrounding depression is often amplified within the church walls. This silence perpetuates pain and isolation. Our churches should be places of refuge where people feel safe to share their struggles without judgment. It's time to replace whispers of shame with messages of hope and healing. The goal of this video is to break the chains of silence and stigma surrounding depression in the church. We will explore misconceptions that prevent Christians from seeking help and offer a biblical perspective on mental health. Together, we will delve into the scriptures to uncover stories of faithful individuals who faced emotional battles. God's love and grace extend to those who are hurting, offering comfort and strength in times of despair. Let's start a conversation that can bring healing and hope to those who need it most. Within our churches, whispers of doubt often swirl around the topic of depression. Can a true believer truly succumb to despair? This question casts a long shadow on those grappling with mental health struggles. Depression does not discriminate. It can touch the lives of even the most devout believers. Just as our physical bodies are susceptible to illness, so too can our minds and emotions be wounded. To suggest that Christians are immune to such trials is to deny the very nature of our human experience. One of the most pervasive misconceptions is the belief that depression stems from a lack of faith. This misguided notion places a heavy burden on those already struggling, adding guilt and shame to their pain. Faith is not a magic elixir that instantly erases all our problems. Depression is a serious medical condition that requires compassionate care and understanding, not judgment or condemnation. Faith is the unwavering belief in God's goodness and love even in the midst of hardship. The stigma surrounding mental health within the church has built a wall of silence. Fear of judgment and rejection keep many trapped in their pain, afraid to reach out for support. We must break down this wall by fostering an atmosphere of openness and acceptance. Imagine the healing that could occur if we replaced whispers of judgment with words of empathy and understanding. Imagine the lives that could be transformed if we extended a hand of grace to those battling depression. When we misjudge depression as a moral failing, we fail to see the individuals behind the diagnosis. This misjudgment can prevent individuals from seeking professional help, fearing condemnation. It can lead to feelings of shame, isolation, and worthlessness, exacerbating their pain. We should approach mental health challenges with the same compassion we would extend to someone struggling with a physical ailment. Just as we support those battling cancer, we should extend grace and care to those grappling with depression. The pages of Scripture resonate with the timeless struggles of humanity. We find stories of men and women who walked with God, yet grappled with despair, doubt, and profound sadness. These stories remind us that mental and emotional struggles are not new. The Bible confronts these emotions head-on, offering glimpses into the hearts of those who wrestled with darkness. Their stories offer comfort and encouragement to those facing their own battles with depression. The book of Job confronts the age-old question of human suffering. Job experiences unimaginable losses compounded by emotional anguish and spiritual wrestling. Yet even in his darkest hour, Job never completely loses his grip on God. Job's story offers a profound message of hope, reminding us that suffering is not a sign of God's displeasure. Job's unwavering faith serves as a beacon of hope, reminding us that God is present with us in our pain. The question of whether depression is a sin weighs heavily on many believers. To label depression as a sin is to misunderstand both the nature of sin and the complexity of the human experience. Depression is not a choice, a character flaw, or a sign of spiritual weakness. To equate depression with sin is to place a heavy yoke upon those already burdened by pain. Such a perspective is not only inaccurate but also deeply unhelpful and potentially harmful. Our emotions, while powerful, are not inherently sinful. They are the language of our souls, expressions of our deepest longings, fears, and joys. To deny our emotions is to deny a fundamental part of who we are. Just as a skilled musician evokes emotions through an instrument, God creates us with the capacity to feel deeply. Our emotions can lead us closer to God, helping us to connect with Him on a deeper level. Depression is far more than just a feeling. It is a complex medical condition. It affects our thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and physical well-being. To reduce depression to a mere case of the blues is to trivialize a serious condition. Depression is not a sign of weakness or a character flaw. We should approach mental health challenges with the same seriousness as physical ailments and seek appropriate care. The Church has a responsibility to create a culture of grace and understanding regarding mental health. We must move beyond simplistic explanations and judgmental attitudes. Imagine a church where individuals struggling with depression feel safe to share their burdens without fear of judgment. Seeking professional help for mental health should be seen as a sign of strength and wisdom. Let us extend the same grace and compassion to those struggling with mental health challenges that Christ extends to us. The journey toward healing and wholeness is rarely linear or straightforward. It is a winding path marked by progress and setbacks, hope and despair. For the believer, this journey is linked with faith, trusting in God's goodness. Faith is not a magic wand but a compass guiding our steps. It is a source of strength and hope even in overwhelming shadows. Healing is a journey, a process of restoration and renewal. It is a tapestry woven by God's grace, medical expertise, and community support. The power of prayer, a lifeline to heaven. Prayer is a direct connection to the heart of God, a language of the soul. In despair, prayer is a lifeline, a source of comfort and strength. Imagine sharing your deepest fears with God, feeling heard and loved. This is the power of prayer, drawing strength from the divine. The words of Scripture, though penned centuries ago, hold a timeless power to soothe the weary soul, to speak truth into darkness, and to offer hope in the face of despair. They are like a balm for the wounded spirit, a source of comfort and guidance when life feels overwhelming. Imagine reading the Psalms, those raw, unfiltered cries of the human heart poured out to God, and finding solace in knowing that you are not alone in your pain. Imagine meditating on the words of Jesus, His promises of peace and hope, His assurances of God's unwavering love, and feeling a glimmer of hope ignite within your soul. The Bible is replete with stories of men and women who face their own battles with despair, doubt, and fear. Their stories offer not only comfort and companionship, but also practical wisdom for navigating the challenges of life. They remind us that faith does not exempt us from suffering, but it does provide a framework for finding meaning and purpose even in the midst of pain. We were not created to walk through life alone, especially when facing the darkness of depression. We need the support, encouragement, and love of others to help us navigate the journey toward healing and wholeness. We need a community of faith that surrounds us with compassion, understanding, and prayerful support. Imagine a church where mental health is not a taboo topic, but rather an opportunity for open and honest conversation. Imagine a congregation where individuals feel safe to share their struggles without fear of judgment, knowing that they will be met with empathy and understanding. Imagine a community where seeking professional help is seen as a sign of strength and wisdom, not a mark of shame or spiritual weakness. This is the kind of community that Christ calls us to cultivate, a community where vulnerability is met with grace, where brokenness is embraced with love, and where healing is nurtured through prayer, support, and accountability. It is a community that recognizes the inherent value and dignity of every individual, regardless. Seeking professional help for depression or any other mental health challenge is not a sign of weak faith. It is an act of courage, a recognition that we need help beyond ourselves to navigate the complexities of our minds and emotions. Just as we wouldn't hesitate to seek medical attention for a physical ailment, we should approach mental health challenges with the same level of seriousness and seek appropriate care from qualified professionals. Therapists, counselors, and psychiatrists are trained to help us understand the underlying causes of our struggles, develop coping mechanisms, and work toward healing and wholeness. They provide a safe and confidential space to explore our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and they offer evidence-based treatments that can make a real difference in our lives. Remember, seeking professional help is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign of strength and a commitment to our well-being. It is an acknowledgement that we don't have to walk this journey alone, that there are trained professionals who can walk alongside us, offering support, guidance, and hope for the future. Even as we conclude this exploration of faith and depression, let me share a story. It's a story whispered in hushed tones, a testament to the enduring power of hope. A young woman, Sarah, sat in the back pew, her heart heavy with unspoken pain. The weight of depression, a constant companion, threatened to crush her spirit. Church, a place she once found solace, now felt like a battlefield. Whispers of judgment echoed in her ears, amplifying her feelings of isolation. "If only you had more faith," they seemed to say, their words like daggers piercing her already wounded heart. But one Sunday, a flicker of hope emerged from the darkness. The pastor, his voice filled with compassion, spoke of the unseen struggles so many face. He spoke of David's cries for deliverance, of Elijah's weariness, of Job's agonizing questions. For the first time, Sarah felt seen. Her pain, though unspoken, was acknowledged. It was a turning point, a moment of grace that sparked a journey toward healing and wholeness. Breaking free from silence. Sarah's story, though unique in its details, is not an isolated one. Countless individuals within our churches bear the invisible wounds of depression, their pain hidden behind brave smiles and forced cheerfulness. The stigma surrounding mental illness, often amplified within the walls of our sanctuaries, perpetuates a culture of silence, shame, and fear. But silence only serves to strengthen the grip of despair. It isolates those who are hurting, preventing them from experiencing the healing power of community and the transformative love of Christ. We are called to be a people of light, shining God's truth into the darkest corners of our world, including the hidden spaces of mental illness. Let us, as individuals and as a church, commit to breaking free from the shackles of silence. Let us create safe spaces for open and honest conversations about mental health, replacing judgment with compassion and shame with understanding. Let us be the hands and feet of Jesus, offering hope and healing to those who are hurting. A ripple of change. Imagine a church that embraces mental health as part of our well-being, where seeking help is seen as courage and self-care. A community where those struggling feel safe to share, met with empathy, understanding, and support. This vision is within our grasp. It starts with compassion, understanding, and grace. Small acts of kindness, listening, and encouragement. Walking alongside those who are hurting, offering presence and support. Chipping away at the stigma within our churches, creating ripples of change beyond our sanctuaries. We become beacons of hope, living testaments to God's transformative love, a love that heals and sets us free. To live lives of purpose and joy. Extending a hand of grace. If you are reading this and you are struggling with depression, please know that you are not alone. Your pain is real, your struggle is valid, and your life has immeasurable value and worth. Reach out to a trusted friend, family member, pastor, or mental health professional. There is no shame in seeking help, in acknowledging that you need support to navigate the darkness. And if you know someone who is struggling with their mental health, extend a hand of grace. Offer a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on, a safe space to share their burdens without fear of judgment. Be patient, be kind, and be present. Your presence, your love, and your support can make a world of difference. Let us remember the words of Galatians chapter 6 verse 2. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. We are called to be a community of love, a refuge for the hurting, a beacon of hope in a world often shrouded in darkness. Let us answer that call with open hearts, open arms, and unwavering compassion. Walking in the light. The journey toward healing and wholeness is often long and winding, marked by both progress and setbacks, moments of joy intertwined with seasons of despair. But we do not walk this path alone. We have a God who walks with us, who understands the depths of our pain and who offers us hope and strength for the journey. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Psalm 34 verse 18 reminds us. His love is a constant, His grace is sufficient, and His promises are true. As we step out of the shadows of silence and into the light of His love, we find healing, hope, and the strength to persevere. Let us together walk in the light of His love, offering that same light to those around us. Let us be a church that embraces brokenness, extends grace, and embodies the transformative power of God's love, a love that heals, restores, and sets us free to live lives of purpose, joy, and unwavering hope.